Okay, so someone said, can we make this? Well, I see this is a big planter outside, and I'm like, maybe an inside project. So we started calculating what would we like to do. And so what I've done is figured that instead of that, I'm going to make it for one of these, which is approximately a 9-inch planter. I'm going to set it inside of it and use this more of a possibly an indoor item versus an outdoor item, and we're going to see if we can set it up. So with that being a 9-inch planter, we did a little bit of quick math, and I hope I did it correctly. We figured a 9-inch diameter by 8 sides and got it figured out that it should be approximately 3 3/4 inches on the short side of it. Should give us a 9-inch diameter on the inside. We'll see if we're pretty close. So then we found a piece of wood, some teak, and I've planed a couple of sides of it. This is used stuff, so I'm watching it a little bit because there was a few nails and I didn't want to hit those. So I'm not going to do the back side of it because, as you can see here, there is a small nail hole here, and I don't know if that's got something in it or not. We're just going to plane this side, which is all we'll need. The inside's not really going to matter. We'll glue everything together when we get done. After we did that, we decided that we should take and round the ends over to make them look a little bit more like a log, possibly, like that does. So I've set up my router and put a round over bit, and we've run it through that. And then we've set it up so that when we put it in, we've set up our stop. Got 3/4 of an inch here. We're going to set this to 3 3/4, lock it down, and start cutting our pieces. And we'll get the pieces together and go from there. Okay, now we have our rough draft in place, and looks like they're going to fit fine when we put all of it together. And we'll see how well it fits our 9-inch bucket. My math fits right. We set it in there, and it looks like a pretty darn good fit. I believe that's going to work just fine. So we'll go ahead and build several layers of that to make it look like the picture maybe, and see how it goes from there. Okay, so now we take them and have them cut, and we're putting them together, glued together, and strapping them. And that'll get us ready to do each of these layers one at a time and then attach them all together. Let's see how that works. Alright, so now we've got to make the top board, and I'm thinking we'll use the same wood, only it needs to be thinner. So I've gone through, because the other one had nails in it, and I've inspected this to make sure that I can finish all sides of it on the planer and all. And then we're going to rip it in half, and that'll give us the right thickness for that top board to give it the effect I think I want. So we're going to plane it, then rip it, and then glue it, and we should be good. Let's see if we can kind of take it through the steps. Okay, I've cut it in half and we've glued it up. I wish I had a little better supply of bar clamps, but it'll be all right. Looks pretty good, and we'll let that dry for a while and then come back through and smooth her off and get it ready for the top rail. Okay, so I guess we're now up to where we're going to work on the well itself. I've got a piece of oak that I'm going to use, and we'll stand this up. I've made a couple of cuts already. So we'll have this standing beside it. And from that, we'll cut that loose, put a little decoration. Should be able to come in here and put a spout and a handle off the top side of it here. So we're going to put it on the saw. We've ripped it down to the width I want. We've cut it on the table saw to start the cuts here, and we'll finish that off and get rid of it and see what happens next. Okay, we've got the basic set up. We've cut it down, given it a little bit of depth. We'll finish trimming that out, sanding it down a little bit, and then we've got some other little pieces that we're going to glue together that'll come in and form the trim around the top of this. I think that'll look pretty good. We'll see how we do with that, getting it put together. But that's the next step, is to now try to figure out how to carve into this and get the spout for it and the handle up in the top. We'll have to cut a hole here to get the handle out of it. So let me see what we can do with that now. All right, now for the handle, I've taken a piece of wood and just kind of carved one out, sanded it down a little bit, and this is going to be inlaid into that, so it'll give us the look of the handle that we want for pumping the water out of the well. I think that's going to look pretty appropriate. We'll see how we can attach that and get it to move a little bit also. So that was the next step, and I think we'll try to figure out how to attach that so that the handle actually moves. Okay, I want to get this to actually move, so what I've done is set it up on the drill press and lined up the parts and pieces, the handle exactly where I want it, and I drilled it out with the size so that my wooden dowel can go in here nice and snug on this piece. Now I'm going to take this back out, and the handle itself will come back out, and because I want this to move up and down, I'm going to drill this out again, a slightly larger, so that it'll float freely around the dowel, and that should give me a working handle. That should have the handle done, and then we'll move on to doing the spout. Okay, so now we've made the spout. All I simply did is we've got our top band on now, got it fitted, and the spout we've made one, and we just simply drilled a hole and placed the dowel in there. We'll go ahead and glue that and push it the rest of the way on in, and that should hold that on the edge just fine. It's just a little bit different than that, and then we can go ahead and put our handle on there, and then try to attach that to our rings when we get those finished up. We've still got the ones gluing and one more to go, and we'll be in pretty good shape, I think. So that's the progress so far, and then we've got to do still the top band, and that's glued up. We can start to. Okay, we've got the other board for our top rail planed down, sanded to where we want it, and we'll use the better part of it, but we're going to go ahead and set that up, and we'll set the jig up so that we can cut the part out of it so we don't end up with little holes. And when we do that, we end up with actually some pretty nice looking pieces of wood. Got them started here, and we just need 8 of them, so they'll glue together and go on the top. So we'll cut a couple more of those, and we'll have them ready to go. And I think we've got over here most of our pump together. Starting to see how it's going to look. So it's getting close. I think it's going to do all right. So a little bit more to go. Okay, we've kind of got the top plate put back together and glued, and the pot fits in there nicely. A little flour. And we've come in here and we've grooved out the place for the well and cut just the edge off of it. So now we can take our handle and we just slide it right into there, and then we'll be able to attach that, and that will give us our finished product for a planter, and get some flowers in there, and I think it'll look pretty good.